Osita Okechukwu, a foundation member of the APC, says former Vice President and People's Democratic Party PDP candidate in the last presidential election, Atiku Abubakar, lacks the moral ground to speak on the rule of law. Okechukwu stated this on Monday while speaking with journalists on the release of President Bola Tinubu's certificate by the Chicago State University, CSU, in the United States. The Director General of Voice of Nigeria is also asking Nigerians to be wary of the desperation of former Vice President and People's Democratic Party candidate in the last presidential election, Atiku Abubakar, to rule the country. CSU had on Monday released Mr. Tinubu's certificate following a case instituted by Atiku in the U.S. court. Joining us now is Osita Okechukwu, Director General of Voice of Nigeria. UN. Good morning and welcome to the morning show.
Good morning, Sister Ayo. Good morning, Dr. Ruby. And good morning, Incisive Rufai. And good morning, Nigerians.
Morning, sir.
Mr. Okechukwu, it's good to see you again. But what is the matter this time?
Thanks a million.
You are accusing Waziri Atiku Abubakar of not having the moral high ground to talk about the rule of law. But he was a candidate on the platform of the PDP in that election. And the law says he has the right to challenge the outcome of that process in court. How does that amount to a desperation? And he has not fully exhausted his rights. That's why, his lawyers have now gone on appeal to the Apex Court. But you say, are you questioning his bona fide rights as someone who participated in that 2023 general election? And what is the rule of law? If not at the center of it, you have the rights of individuals.
Thank you very much. My canvas is that we do not need to throw away the baby and the bathwater. I'm talking of the health of our democracy and the danger of heating up the polity, especially when we are in economic doldrums. And I'm saying that the messenger himself deliberately, consciously breached his own party's constitution. His great party, the PDP, has in Section 7 ingrained rotation for the peace, unity, and health of our dear country. And the same rotation convention is embedded in the Fourth Republic that started in 1999. I'm not here to talk about the principles of the law. I'm saying before you can talk of the principles of the law, you should first and foremost believe in the rule of law. You should also, in your own way, adhere to the rule of law. And I'm saying there's a local balance that if you go ahead to gather firewood infested with ants, you do not expect nothing else except lizards to visit you. That if His Excellency Atiku Abubakar and his party, the PDP, had not breached their own constitution, had not breached the rotation convention that had been the health and the ligament holding our country, that if power goes to the north, after 8 years, it should come to the south, and if it finishes in the south, it should go back to the north for the unity of the country. That this started in 1999, and Waziri Adamawa was a beneficiary when Olufalaye and Obasanjo contested. In 2007, it was between Umaru Musa Yar'Adua of blessed memory and former President Muhammadu Buhari. And that reduces the tension in the land. We're a very diverse country. And I'm saying, we first and foremost need to have a country before we can contest for election. And we need to have a democracy, no matter the flaws. That democracy is not a revolution. that the growth in democracy throughout the history of liberal democracy is incremental. That His Excellency stormed out of PDP Convention in 2014, complaining that the then President Jonathan is breaching the rotation convention by denying the northern part of the country their turn to be president. And he joined us in the APC, contested the primaries, lost and went back to PDP. Luckily for him, the PDP in 2019 in Port Harcourt, hosted by the then Governor Wike, the minister today of the Federal Capital Territory, hosted the PDP presidential aspirants in their presidential convention. And no Southerner, in honor of the rotation convention, participated in that. Even the Wike himself, who hosted the presidential primaries, he didn't contest. Luckily, Waziri Adamawa, you were the beneficiary.
All right.
You won that primary. Now, it is the turn of the South, and you jumped into the arena. I'm saying, if it was a Southern affair, the peace and health of the party of the country could have been better.
Mr. Okechukwu, we have very limited time
Yes,
for this
please.
interview. Thank you for taking us down memory lane. But I'm still trying to connect the Atiku and PDP issues with the situation on ground, which is regards to the certificate, the CSU certificate. I want you to clarify a statement you made that we should not heat up the polity. How would obtaining the president's certificate, which he attended to INEC, be heating up the polity? How are you saying that the revelations could potentially be such that it would cause irreparable damage and heat up the polity? I'd like you to clarify that. And then the second aspect of things is I'd like to get your thoughts on the revelations thus far from the certificates that has been revealed or has been released. What's your take on this? The potential, there are discrepancies in age, 1952 versus 1954. There are discrepancies with regards to secondary school attended, year of graduation vis-a-vis the year the secondary school was set up. Are these not, in your estimation, critical issues to delve into this morning, to just analyze for us?
I started by saying, luckily for me and you and all of us, my lords of the Supreme Court, the justice of the Supreme Court, will do a good justice to whatever is contained in the appeal of His Excellency Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi vis-a-vis against my great party and Mr. President. So I wouldn't go into the nitty-gritties of the propriety of the certificates. All I have to say is that we all know each other. Mr. President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not new to us. We know him. These issues have been on the table for decades. And if anybody knows Mr. President, it should be Waziri of Adamawa. When they joined us in partisan politics in late 80s, they belonged to Patriotic Front, a political association then canvassing for registration, and was headed by General Musa Shehu Yar'Adua of blessed memory. They were brothers, they know each other, political friends, in the same political family. And if you have all the knowledge about Tinubu, and you do not exhaust it, you did not make it one of your major planks in the court of first instance that is being in contention, whether actually that issue was one of your major prayers. I don't want to go into that. Let the Supreme Court, my Lord Justices of the Supreme Court, let them deal with that. What I'm saying is that looking inwards, the day they breached their own party's constitution and denied the South of a candidate, that was the day when their crisis started. If you combine Peter Obi's 6-point-something million and his own 6 points, do any minus you like it. If there was not such division in the PDP, we won't have crisis. That's why I talked of hysteria. I talked of desperation. I talked of from first error. The democracy we have should not be thrown into the ambition of any of us. We have to be reticent. Because all they are doing now, if you're an investor, you ask me why is it impacting on us? If you're an investor trying to invest in the country, will you be happy to hear the order coming out from the system? It's avoidable.
Okay.
And it could have been settled long ago.
Okay, sir. Sir, so what you are saying, and I'm happy you talk about investors, what you are saying is that, is it not a shame that investors will look and say the president of Nigeria has certificate problem? Is it not a shame that the world is reporting? You are the head of Voice of Nigeria, to amplify the interests of Nigeria. Have you been reporting this? I'd like to ask you first, to your foreign audience. It's not a thing of a shame? And is that not supposed to be the bulk of the conversation rather than matters that people will judge you to be a meddlesome interloper for? And let me get the facts right for you. Atiku Abubakar said before the elections that if the PDP zones to the southeast, he will not run. But it was never the case. There were other political actors, so that's not even the issue. Let's talk about this certificate issue. Let me show you something. Daily Trust newspaper, front page. He said birthday mismatch. There were 3 different birthdays of the president. 3 different. So what's even his date of birth? 1952, 1954, 1955. Isn't that enough to talk that we don't even know the date of birth? Gender error? Female or male? What's the gender? Unanswered questions, and also the events at the deposition. I think those are the substantive issues here. Those are the issues that are preventing investors from coming. I would like to have your take on that, because those are the great issues on ground. As the DG of the Voice of Nigeria, that you project Nigeria's image. Let's talk about that, sir. Analyze for us. Why will somebody have 3 different dates of birth? Probably do you have 3 yourself?
I will be the happiest person that will have a purity situation in our system. And I know, going through the course of history of liberal democracy, that will happen. If it doesn't happen today, it will not prevent tomorrow. The point of the matter is that there are rules. The same PDP failed in their own way. That's what I'm referring to. That we cannot burn down the house because of the unfirst error of the leadership of the PDP. I'm not trying to defend any irregularity.
But talk about the irregularity. You're shying away from it, sir. Talk about the irregularity, because that's the substantive matter in this story. Talk about the irregularity. You're shying away from it. Is it good for somebody to have 3 dates of birth?
My brother.
My brother.
My brother.
Yes, sir.
My brother.
Yes, sir.
Can I tell you something?
Bless you, sir.
Please,
go ahead, sir.
Leave emotion out of it.
Okay.
Why do we have the presidential election petition court? And they said if you lose there, you can go to the Supreme Court. In the next 1 or 2 weeks or 1 month or 3, my Lord Justices will do a justice to the matter presented to them. But I'm saying before then, let us not forget, we are PDP on their own.
But leaving emotion aside, sir, is what you are doing now, is it not the role of a meddlesome? Is it not the role of a meddlesome interloper? Because, sir, are you a member of the PDP? No. The substantive matter on ground is this discrepancy that we discovered in America. Now you are saying it's because of what the PDP did. That election have been won and lost. Let's talk about the issues.
If I might cast your mind back, you might not be there. I've lived in this country to see how this mismanagement of political parties impacted in all of us, both members and non-members. It happened in '83. There were this kind of clamor. when the ruling party then, the MPN, were trying to capture here and capture there. I remember late Okadibo, he was an advice to Shagari, and he said one of his friends advised him and said, why do you want to capture Southwest, capture Southeast? That Shagari could win the election seamlessly. Why go ahead to be desperate? Oyi pleaded with Shagari, and the professor was invited from London School of Economics, and he came and addressed the MPN caucus in the then chairman of the MPN, A.M. Akinloye's house, and told them that Shagari will win by a slim margin, and that victory should be okay for the MPN. Don't go and overdrive. That if you overdrive, the democracy will disappear. My brother, there's wind of anti-democratic headwind and storm in our sub-region that we need to collectively move on and we will get there, but we cannot get there by overheating our polity and keeping us on ease. I'm not saying that I'm defending President Tinubu and his certificates. We know Tinubu. Tinubu knows us. We know Atiku.
Okay.
There's none of us here who said there was no question about Tinubu's certificate back years. But luckily for him, in our party, there were 23 presidential aspirants, and he scaled. In this instance, this issue of latest piecemeal evidence, if it doesn't click, let nobody put down the house. That's what I'm saying. I'm not defending him or saying I won't like a purity country. Why not? As a Christian, I want the best for the country.
Mr. Okechukwu, don't let's drag the matter. I know you as DG Voice of Nigeria, not as DG Voice of Tinubu. But let me take you back to the statement that you issued. Can you clarify the contradiction there? On one hand, you said Atiku Abubakar anointed Tinubu as president because of what transpired, his violation. You even quoted the PDP Constitution, Section 7. And at the same time, you asked him to apologize to his in-laws, Indigbo, and also apologize to Nigerians. Okay, what offense really has he committed that you're asking him to apologize? Because I don't see what you want him to apologize for. If you could just clarify that part of it. Are you quoting PDP Constitution and all that? Looks like a busybody intervention. Don't you think the PDP people should sort out their own issues with Atiku if they have any with him? I just want a clarification.
The clarification is this, that if he had obeyed the constitution of his party, since he believes in the principle of rule of law, the PDP won't be where they are. And then he caused harm to PDP. Kwankwaso couldn't have left. Peter Obi couldn't have left. It became a divided house. And I said he could have played the role of a statesman. And for God's sake, whatever we are doing anything in PDP, pay attention, in APC, pay attention whether you're a member or not. It might in one way spill over to you. Because we are on the same political environment called Nigeria. So I'm not an interloper. I'm an elder statesman that knows it might affect me unnecessarily. And I'm trying to appeal and cool the tension. I'm telling the Nigerian people, one, this messenger and his party, they made their unforced errors. Let the error not consume our democracy or our fragile country. That's all I'm saying. It concerns me. Purity, I'm a person who likes purity. And I know in the next subsequent election, we might not have issue of contention about certificate. But we are doing it as if today is the last election. If you don't agree with President Tinubu, please wait for 4 years. You can't vote him out. America, after over 200 years of democracy, they elected Donald Trump. 4 years later, they said, no, it can't be. They voted him out. That's democracy for you. You mustn't get every good thing right at the same time. That's my contention, not a question of defending my party or reporting this or reporting that. No. Far from it. For God's sake, I have a personal relationship with His Excellency Waziri Adamawa. He was very close to late Okadibo, one of my political mentors. He was very close to my uncle, Dibe Moya. I know him fully. He knows my name. I'm not castigating him. I'm not saying what he did is wrong, but I'm saying let's cast our mind where the rain started beating the PDP. And he should apologize accordingly. And let it not spill and pull down our democracy. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, on that note, we'd like to thank you very much, Mr. Osita Okechukwu, Director General of the Voice of Nigeria.